Here we are, standing one day after the end of the COP26 for this second week. And there is a lot of questioning going on. And I'm afraid that the questions that are being asked are not necessarily the questions that we need. Everybody's asking, so what has been the outcome? Everybody's asking, are we going to get things done now? Maybe the questions we need to ask have to do with the type of processes that will follow from this COP forward. Maybe what we need to be asking is, did we have more countries signing on to the agreements? And we heard of China and the US making progress in this area. Maybe questions that have to do with, are the governments really supporting the claims that they signed on to in Paris? And the response of that is that more states, such as Scotland, has not only said yes, but they already made a contribution. And then we also need to say that out of this COP26, we heard the magnified voices of the youth and their presence. How amazing it was to be part of the march on Friday and also on Saturday, where the people were celebrating the fact that there is interest in taking care of nature. Even in the rain, the chanting, the calling out for attention, all of it was a tremendous manifestation, but it also manifestation of the power of the people, power that was granted to them because of their justice issues. Another one of the questions that I think we should ask is how to reach the appointed goals. And the only way that this is going to be done is by having the interests of the negotiators as they come together. And in each one of these meetings and each one of the opportunities that they have, as they do the negotiation, as they listen to each other, as they engage with one another, they will be making sure to have the right process in place to respond to how to get to the goals that we have set. So this COP26 was more of a technical example of how the process goes. If first we got countries to sign on, what is following is to negotiate, to get to understand how the process is going to come to a reality. COP26 took care of doing just that. This is an opportunity as well to sit with the scientists and ask the scientists, did we reach the established goals? Do we need to make more time for the goals to be met? All these questions are the ones that we really need to be asking. I'm sorry to say that the media is looking for the COP26 to be a big bang. And that is exactly what it's not. COP26 is an opportunity for the technical aspects to be looked into and to establish a route forward. When you decide to change from fossil fuel or change from the use of carbon, you also need to identify, so what are you going to use for energy? And how do you get this energy processed in the way that it can be used? The voice of the most vulnerable was also heard. And that was part achieved by faith leaders. While politicians and economists and scientists were eager doing what they need to do well, faith leaders made sure that the voice of the most vulnerable that are not here were listened to as well and brought to their attention. Yes, it has to do with economy. Yes, it has to do with politics. But most of all, it has to do with the lives of the people and their livelihood. We also heard in a very strong voice, especially from Prime Minister Motley, how important it is to the island countries, not only from the Caribbean, not only from the Pacific, but the island countries around the world who are at this very moment experiencing the effect of climate change. COP26 was also an opportunity to create new relationship and new partnership. But quite interesting, some of the old partnership that were created have become stronger and stronger, and now we are setting out to find new challenges. For this situation of COP26 has not ended. We need to keep at it in a very positive way. The Anglican Communion also have some responsibility and some steps forward. If we have identified that within the 5 mark submission, our 5th mark of mission that has to do with safeguarding the integrity of creation, then all the efforts that we put together within the Anglican Communion have to respond to that mark of mission. So, what we're planning to do is to establish more opportunities for capacity building for the leadership of our church, and the leadership, not only clergy, but also the laity. And when I talk about the laity, I'm really referring to the young people in our church. This is an argument and is also a theme that has gained a lot of interest in our young people. And I think it's very important for us as church to not only listen to their voices, but also accompany them on the journey. We have planned the need for the capacity building for primates, for bishops, and here is where we're going to use our strategic partnership with other NGOs or other religious groups that have already passed through this process. We need to build upon what other groups have been doing and make sure that those resources are used well. And the partnership that we have done have made this possible. Anglican Communion is also geared towards responding not only to our identity, but how we're going to do the follow-up and the follow-through. If during the pandemic we are so efficient and so effective in making sure that Bible studies, preaching teams, all of this was in place, we really need to redouble the amount of effort that we are putting into this. And when I think of resources that we need to identify and set aside to continue on this journey, I really do believe that as part of the team that came, we could use more people. But let us call upon those who have the expertise as technicians, those who have the expertise as scientists, those who have the expertise as lobbying in the areas for the negotiation, and how do you do the follow-up. When we think of resources, yes, we also need to put some money to this effort so that we can respond efficiently and effectively. I take this opportunity to thank all the people who have been praying for us and cheering us on as the members of the team got the job done. It has been a tremendous experience. And you know what? What makes this experience so good is that we came here to serve, not to be served. This is a time in which we also need to think about the parable that is in Luke chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. That widow who came in front of the judge and persistently she was requesting for justice. That's an image that we need for ourselves as we seek to journey with the climate change issues. We need not to stop. We need to continue persistently praying, asking, questioning, offering information, offering spaces for conversation and dialogue, making sure that the leadership of our church is well equipped so that when they use their prophetic voice, they use it well informed, making space for young people to step up and be part of the process, making sure that those most affected are also taken care of, and most of all, making sure and safeguarding the integrity of creation. We become the widow. We are seeking justice, and we are not going to stop until justice is done.